The US President Donald Trump is expecting to meet now with the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un on the border of North and South Korea. Let's take a listen in.
Good to see you again. I've never expected to meet you at this place.
Get out of the way.
No, clear.
I just want to say that this is my honor. I didn't really expect it. We were in Japan for the G20. We came over and I said, hey, I'm over here. I want to call Chairman Kim. And we got to meet, and stepping across that line was a great honor. A lot of progress has been made.
Well, the Prime Minister is heading back from the G20 summit in Japan, and he is bringing home some unfinished business. It looks like Trudeau was not able to cool things down in that escalating trade dispute with China, nor does it appear he made progress in the release of 2 Canadians detained by Beijing. For more details, let's bring in Evan Dyer in Osaka.
Well, yesterday we saw a small breakthrough where there was at least some communication between Canada and China, something that hasn't happened for some months. Prime Minister Trudeau had a short pull aside of about 2 minutes with President Xi Jinping of China through interpreters, and of course raised the detainee issue with him. But the meeting that a lot of eyes were focused on was one that happened today between President Trump and Xi Jinping, and that was of great interest to the whole world because of the trade issues, but very much also to Canada because President Trump had promised to raise the issue of the detainees with Xi Jinping.
Protest leaders are organising what they hope will be a 1 million-strong march demanding a civilian-led government. The military junta has warned that no damage or destruction will be tolerated during the protests. Remember, more than 100 people were killed on June 3rd when security forces opened fire to disperse the demonstrators. More from Hibber Morgan.
A show of defiance and determination in this neighborhood in Sudan's capital, Khartoum. Protesters are calling on people to mobilize for a major protest called for by the opposition coalition dubbed a Millions March on Sunday. It's said to be the first major protests after the military forcefully broke up a months-long pro-democracy sit-in at army headquarters in the capital at the beginning of the month. The Sudan Central Doctors Committee says more than 120 people were killed that day. The government states a much lower figure of 61.
We begin along the coast of British Columbia. Residents there are dealing with an unsightly and smelly shipment today. We are talking about a garbage barge that's packing 1,500 tons of trash. It has spent years festering on a dock in the Philippines amid a dispute over its handling, and now it has arrived home to finally be dealt with.
Well, right now, crews are unloading the 69 containers filled with garbage. And once they're done that, the containers will stay here overnight. And then tomorrow, trucks will come and take the containers to a waste facility in Burnaby. That's about 30 minutes from here. And then they will be incinerated. Now, some of the garbage could possibly be recycled, but because there is fear of contamination, they're going to burn it all. And as you can imagine, that garbage has been sitting at the port in the Philippines for 6 years. And this whole thing has cost the federal government over $1 million in just the shipping cost to get the garbage from the Philippines to here.
Japan is poised to resume commercial whaling this week after leaving the International Whaling Commission. When it originally took the decision last December, the country said it was no longer possible to whale commercially under IWC rules. Japan says it will only conduct the practice in its own territorial waters and exclusive economic zones. However, there is opposition to the move. In London, around 50 people took part in a protest organised by Britain-based animal protection groups. The rally marched towards the Japanese embassy, carrying placards and calling for tougher whale protection. The IWC imposed a commercial moratorium on whaling in the 1980s due to a dwindling population. Japan switched to what it called research whaling, and now says stocks have recovered enough to resume commercial hunting.
Tens of thousands of people have been taking part in gay pride celebrations around the world, including a boisterous party in Mexico. Rainbow flags and umbrellas swayed and music pounded along Mexico City streets, with couples, families, and activists seeking to raise visibility for sexual diversity in the country. Other LGBTQ celebrations took place from India to Europe, with more events taking place today.
In spite of a ban, hundreds and hundreds of members of Istanbul's LGBT movement are trying to celebrate Pride here in Istanbul. They've been forced to go into the back streets of Istanbul after a ban was imposed on them. There is a massive police presence all around the centre of the city now to prevent the celebration of Pride. But despite that, activities are still going on. There are many riot police on the streets. We're backed up by water cannon. But as you can hear and you can see, people in Istanbul, the LGBT movement, are determined to celebrate Pride.
More breaking news coming in. A chopper in which BJP MP Balaknath was travelling lost its balance. However, the crash was averted due to the pilot's timely action. The incident took place in Kot Qasim area of Alwar district, where Nath had gone to visit a temple. Balaknath is a BJP MP from Alwar. There on your screens, you can see the incident that was taking place. I believe Dev Uncle Radhavan will be joining me in a moment from now for more details on that story. But near escape for that BJP MP, as you can see on your screens, how the chopper destabilized, but the pilot managed to avert any disaster that could take place. Well, it was a close shave for BJP's Alwar MP, Nath, who was travelling in that chopper. I believe he was to make a visit to a temple when this incident took place.